Hi guys, and welcome back to my continuous stream of Chaos Head NoAH content. So, apparently going forward, only certain choices matter. But, I do want to see every delusion in the game, so I'm going to try and pick, I'm gonna try and pick the delusions I haven't seen yet on my way to the delusion that triggers a new route. So, yep, just bear with me. Woo. So, yeah, I haven't seen negative yet. I felt like it should have been obvious to him how much I didn't want to go and see a puddle of blood and gore. It would have been way too much for me. It wouldn't be like a haunted house or a horror movie or something. People had actually died IRL, and the killer was still on the loose. So wherever the murderer was likely to be, I'd have liked to be anywhere but there. Still, I was curious about the murderer. What could have possibly been their motive? Were they just a psychopath that committed crimes for the hell of it? That was probably the most reasonable explanation. No, it's a Bonnie and Clyde situation where they, well, Bonnie and Clyde, but they're in a cult. And they're murdering people specifically to screw with you, apparently. Yeah, that's just the greatest motivation ever. Really. Truly. Well, whatever. It didn't really matter to me. I mean, if I was a serial... I was a serial... Okay. That's the same crap. Same crap. But, yeah. He's already said this. Already said this. Raw. This better not just... Oh, hello there. There is a dead cat on the ground. I went out to buy myself some dinner. I took the road I always used to get to my local convenience store. It was only a 3-minute walk from my base. I'd walked down this dirty alley more times than I could count. But for some reason, walking through it today, I couldn't help but feel as if I'd stepped into another world. The alley was the same as ever. It felt like it was the first time I'd ever stepped foot in it. There's something on the ground at the far end of the alley. So, are we just ignoring the dead corpse of a cat? At first glance, I thought it was just a garbage bag from the convenience store, so I kept on walking without paying it any mind. Once I'd gotten a bit closer... Oh, there we go. I realized what it really was. A dead cat. Blood and feces were pouring out from it. It was such a morbid sight that I had to avert my eyes. A shiver ran down my spine, and goosebumps spread across my skin. I turned around to head back the way I came, but behind me was another cat, a black cat, an alive one, staring at me with radiant, golden eyes. Golden eyes, so leather.
なんだよ。
As soon as I spoke, the cat dashed away into the shadows. For some reason I couldn't explain, I was now feeling really uncomfortable. I'd be more concerned if you weren't uncomfortable around a dead cat. I'd figured I should just get going already, but since the dead cat was in the way of my normal route, I decided to take the long way to the store. But just as I was about to head off, I realized something. This whole time I'd been hearing a strange noise coming from somewhere. With a gulp, I started listening closely. Wow. That was weird.
最悪だ。
I was sitting behind a computer monitor. I chugged down a cola to quench my thirst, then leaned back in my chair. That was a horrible delusion. All that talk of gory shit must have gotten to my head. Whenever something really got to me like that, I tended to have all sorts of weird delusions about it. Stuff so bad, it surprised even me. And even though they were just delusions, there were still a lot of times where they genuinely affected me and how I was feeling. My imagination was just too powerful for my own good. Especially in cases like these where I didn't have the full story. Whenever that happened, my mind always went wild, filling in the blanks with the worst things I could think of. Sometimes it was so terrifying that it actually made me scream. Of course, that'd be fine if I were back at my base, but if I did that in public, I'd attract all sorts of unwanted attention.
Okay, so apparently this is the trigger for the next route. This specific delusion, for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, so I believe... yeah. Okay. I have to pick positive, and then I have to answer a series of questions with no, yes, no, yes, yes. This better not be incest.
知らんがな。
Her soft throat. Her soft throat rose and fell seductively, pumping the soda down with an audible gulp, gulp, gulp.
せめてコップ使えよ。
Had she seriously just drunk straight from the bottle? Even though she was a girl? What a disgrace. This was exactly why 3D sucked ass. As soon as Nanami finished her drink, she went right back to pouting like before. Though, was it just me, or it seemed like she was blushing a little.
だってナナはお兄と関節キスしたかったの。
And just like that, she dropped a bombshell. She still kept her pouty attitude, but now she was looking straight at me. I was paralyzed. My little sister was on the verge of tears, and all I could do was just stand and stare. Had I just tripped the flag? Like some kind of a rogue, eh? Was I on the little sister route?
軽蔑しただとしたらナナ悲しくなっちゃうな。
It's just a delusion. Swan, it's just a delusion. Just a delusion. Just a delusion.
言っとくけどお兄相手じゃなきゃこんなことしないんだからね。
Nanami's voice gradually lowered.
お兄のバカ。
Her voice was a faint murmur as she hung her head in shame. There wasn't a single trace of her typical bratty attitude.
ねえお兄 関節だけじゃ嫌だな。
Hearing that, I tried to gulp, but the saliva got caught in my throat and refused to go down. And with that, I was completely cornered, though I still didn't really understand what Nanami meant.
お兄とキスしたい
Look, as a guy with 2 sisters, this is making me die inside. I die inside every time something like this happens. And I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. These 2 are blood related. I don't believe in those delusion shenanigans. It's pretty obvious to me.
お兄が欲しいよ。
Nanami took a step closer to my petrified body. What should I do? I'd always seen Nanami as this obnoxious little brat, but right now, my heart was pounding out of my
いい
chest.
じゃん。16年間も我慢してきたんだよ。
Incest jump scare. Nanami reached her arms around. Nanami reached her arms out and wrapped them around my neck.
して。
She was almost begging, then she raised her chin ever so slightly and closed her eyes. And my answer was, I'm into older sisters, not younger ones. No! No. I like girls with flat chests. Yes. There are 3D girls I like besides Nanami. No. I admit it. Nanami is cute. Yes. I wanna kiss Nanami-tan. Yes. So in order to do this, you must reject the reality that is Rimi, and instead go for incest, apparently. Alright, since Nanami seemed to want it so much, I'd kiss her. I mean, I was a man after all, and well, Nanami wasn't that sexy. I wanted to kiss a real girl for once. Even if it was my little sister. Jesus Christ! I'd zoned out and let my delusions run wild again. I'd never felt so disgusted with myself in my life. Somehow this is worse than literally everything ever that you've done. Literally everything. You've done so many awful things. So many awful things. But this was somehow the thing that drove me to insanity. I feel like this shouldn't even be it, but it is. Like, OMG, barf. Just total barf. Just totally barf. What? Gentiano Scabra. Having lived more than twice as long as the 7 other gigalomaniacs, NoAH's D-Sword has evolved into a far more brutal, distorted form in proportion to the amount of time he has lived. The reason why NoAH's D-Sword has taken on such a hideous form, even without the crucial afflictions, is because it is a manifestation of his negative emotions.
And at the root of those emotions are his warped beliefs and sense of justice, his desire to rule over the weak, and his hatred for the world. I guess that's just, I guess we're just gonna unlock the names of the swords as we go through these routes. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess Takami's sword is called Water Lily. So for oh my god or oh my gosh, while the abbreviation originated in the letter written in 1917, it is most commonly associated with texting and the internet, yes. In recent years, however, it has become popular enough to be used colloquially in normal conversations, especially among teenage girls, yes. And then I started thinking, maybe if we weren't blood related and she fell in a little more into the cute little sister archetype, I wouldn't be such a virgin loser.
どうしたの？
After finishing her cola, Nanami shot me a confused look. I'd been acting weird because of my delusion just now, and Nanami had noticed. Snap out of it. I took a deep breath and forced the disgusting thoughts out of my mind. So I guess I'll go with positive?
The pedestrian signal turned green. Girl A and the rest of the crowd started walking forward. She was coming my way. I couldn't move. I was absolutely petrified.
Chuck-kun, please save me. Please save me. I don't like girls with glasses.
She didn't look away from me, not even for a second. She just kept drawing closer and closer. Until she stopped right in front of me. My instincts were telling me to run. Yet for some reason, I couldn't move an inch. It felt like my consciousness had left my body. The girl reached her hand into her jacket, aiming for one of her inner pockets. Her motions seemed deliberate, as if she wanted me to see what she was doing. Was she going for a knife? A pistol? A stun gun? Maybe I just watched too much TV, but I had a bad feeling that I just couldn't shake.
これ
Girl A began to whisper something. The gaze deep beneath her glasses was unflinching. She'd been staring straight into my eyes for what felt like an eternity.
落としましたよ。
She held out something to me. A student ID.
さっきのネットカフェで拾いました。追いつくことができてよかった。
I sure hope it doesn't say whose eyes are those eyes.
I took the ID without much thought. The second I opened it, I saw my own name and photo. The ID was mine.
西条匠くんって言うんですね。
Her expression, which had been stone cold until just a second ago, was now beginning to relax a little.
すいません。勝手に中身を見ちゃって。私も同じ学校なんです。よろしく。
Well, that was anticlimactic. Guess my paranoia has been screwing with me after all, huh?
ところで西条くんは付き合ってる人いますか？
Damn girl, slow the brakes. You too! Sir, slow the brakes! Slow the brakes! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, the truck's coming! No!
いません。
本当ですか？じゃあよかったら私と。
No. What?
Time for my new life as a normie to finally begin. I suddenly snapped out of it. The pedestrian signal, which I thought had turned green, was still red. And girl A, who should have been right in front of me, was now back on the other side of the street. Had that all been just a delusion? This time, the pedestrian signal actually turned green. All the pedestrians started crossing at once. I couldn't move, and Girl A didn't move either. She just stood there, staring me down from a distance. We were the only ones standing still, as if time had frozen for just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I, just the two of us. Why was the girl in glasses not crossing the street? Why was she just standing there? It was strange. Really, really strange. I needed to stay away from her.
Okay, last time I picked neither. And the time before that, I picked neither. So, since my heart clearly belongs to Nanami now, I'll just ruin this with a nightmare. Yeah, good luck sleeping, Takumi.
Oh man.
Oh, whoops.
私、あなたのことが好きなんです。ずっと西条くんのことを見てました。もう見てるだけじゃ嫌なんです。
Oh, a CG.
Yua's face turned bright red.
Oh no, is this the root trigger for the Euro root or something?
Yua's face turned bright red, and right after the sudden confession, she started fishing around in her bag. She must have been looking for something.
あなたの全部私のものにしたいんです。それでいろいろ考えて一番素敵な方法を思いついたんです。
Anime girl knife jump scare.
She finally pulled something out of her bag. The brand new kitchen knife. Its blade glimmered with light reflected from my desk lamp. I just stood there, staring at her like an idiot. That was all I could do. Things were happening so suddenly, my mind could hardly keep up. I took all my strength just to swallow the saliva that had built up in my mouth.
私、あなたが好きだから。好きすぎて、もう耐えられないから。
Yua grasped the knife in her hand tightly. So tightly, in fact, her fingers were turning pale. And then she swung the blade toward me. I shook my head frantically, doing everything in my power to get her to stop, but it didn't seem like I could get through to her anymore.
You have dislocated your pinky, by the way.
あなたの肉とか骨とか皮膚とか内臓とか脳とか目玉とかもちろんあなたの一番恥ずかしいところも
Mention them! Go on! I dare you! I dare you!
私
I
は
double dog dare you! I triple cat dare you!
食べてあげますね
Oh no, Red Eye, you
And as she screamed, Yua lunged straight for my chest. Thankfully, a truck just barreled through my room and saved the day. Suddenly, I felt a dull impact and an intense pressure. I looked down at my chest. It was the tip of the kitchen knife, sinking deep into my body. Yua let out a moan near my ear, dripping with ecstasy. The knife gouged my flesh, my bones, and yet I couldn't feel any pain. Which could only mean one thing. This was all a delusion. Holy shit, that was way too goddamn scary. Yandere girls are fucking terrifying. I knew it was just a delusion. It was so intense, it left me with a lingering dread that gave me goosebumps.
Please don't turn out to be a jerk, Yua.
Oh, that's right. Nanami had one attached to her cell phone. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, it was perfectly normal. What did I think was so strange about it? I was just paranoid over nothing. I'm so stupid. Nanami did say that Gero froggies were super popular with high school girls. So really, it should come as no surprise that Yua had some too. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary here. Not even slightly. Sometimes having such a big imagination really sucked. And with how terrifying my delusions could be, it got so much worse.
西条くん
Yua was looking at me, tilting her head in confusion. Not knowing how to reply, I just forced a smile.
あ、それ本当に流行ってるんだなって。ゲロカエルン。
Huh? What kind of reaction was that? Why had her expression turned so stiff? Had I said something wrong? All I'd done was mention the Gero froggies as a conversation starter. Nothing else. So then, why? I had her smile, that gentle smile she'd had this entire time, suddenly vanished. Why had she hang her head, as if she didn't even want to look at me? I couldn't tell what kind of expression she was making anymore. It all gave me a terrible feeling I just couldn't shake. When I first laid eyes on those 3 Gero froggies hanging from her back, I'd been hit by a massive sense of deja vu. Looking back, I guess my instincts were right. I had seen those 3 Gero froggies somewhere before, and now that I had mentioned them, Yua was freaking out. Suspicion slowly crept through my head, until it completely took over my mind. I wanted to trust Yua, but I didn't know if I should.
ゲロカエル西条くんも知ってるんですね。
Her voice lacked even the least bit of composure.
本当に大人気ですよね。私もあんまり可愛いとは思わなかったりするんですけど、何人かの友達からもらっちゃって気がついたら3つになってまして。
The more Yua spun her tail, the more artificial it felt. She wasn't looking at me. She didn't even try to. Her smile was gone. Even though until that very moment, she'd been so sweet, so gentle. I started to feel dead inside. Please, don't say any more, I begged inside my head.
見せてあげましょうか。
Yua reached out for her bag, trying to take the Gero froggy straps off of it.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Her hands were trembling. She frantically tried to pull them off her back, but they just wouldn't budge.
変だな。どうして外れないんでしょう。絡まっちゃってるのかな。
Whoops, I accidentally spilled all my secret documents.
Yua pulled on the straps a little bit too hard, causing the bag to fall off the bench. The bag was unzipped, so all of her notes and textbooks spilled out onto the ground.
I hate you, Takumi! I hate you! I hate you!
It didn't take long for me to be called into the examination room. I expected to be waiting there for quite a while, but I guess I was wrong. Why had there been so many people in the lobby then? Maybe they were being paid to sit there just to make it look busy. It was a different examination room than the one from 4 years ago, but yeah.
やあ、西条くん。
Dr. Takashina looked at me with a beaming smile. He hadn't changed a bit after 4 years. Feeling relieved, everything I was thinking spilled out all at once.
先生、助けて。どうしたんだい？変な女が僕にストーカー行為を。このままじゃ学校にも行けないし、家にも一度来られて場所知られてるから安心できないし。 落ち着いて。落ち着いてなんていられないよ。あの女異常だ。僕は正常なんだ。それに岩だけじゃない。悪魔女だって。そうだ、悪魔女が真犯人なんだ。真犯人？ニュージェネの犯人だよ。間違いないんだ。僕は事件現場で死体を貼り付けにしてる最中のあの女を見たんだ。大丈夫だ。何も心配いらないから。とにかく落ち着こう。いいね。
Having been admonished by him, I stopped talking. I didn't understand how he knew everything would be alright, but he was a professional, not to mention Dr. Takashina, so I guess he must be right. That was what I told myself. My breathing was ragged, likely thanks to getting so worked up. I took a deep breath. Dr. Takashina stared fixedly at me. What concerned me, however, was that the look on his face was pretty serious.
本当に大丈夫なの？もちろんだよ。あんな危ない女が僕を、狙ってるのに、なんでそう言い切れるの？理由を知りたいかい？
When I nodded, he lightly shrugged his shoulders. He spun the pen in his hand around his fingers, likely out of habit.
なぜなら、君の言っている女の人はこの世には存在しないからだよ。でも君は自分の妄想に怯えているだけなんだ。
His tone of voice was so gentle, it was eerie. I started trembling all over. I couldn't stop it. Why was this happening? Even though Dr. Takashina was being so nice, he...
西条くん、君はその女の人には会っていない。わかるね？わからないよ。じゃあもっと具体的に言おうか。君はその女の人には会えるはずがないんだ。もう7年間も君はこの病院から一歩も外に出ていないんだからね。
What the fuck? Huh? What the hell was he?
君はこの病院の精神科に7年間入院している。そのことはわかるだろう？
I mean, he's not wrong about actually being hospitalized this whole time, but just not in the way you think.
Aware of? What the hell was he talking about? How could he casually spout off such insane bullshit with a smile on his face? I inadvertently glanced down at the clothes I was wearing. When I'd come to the hospital, I was wearing a denim long-sleeved shirt on top of a blood-tuned t-shirt, along with the only pair of jeans I had. That was the outfit I should have been wearing. But for some reason, I was now wearing a hospital gown. One piece colored a pale yellowish green. A simple piece of clothing tied together with a cord that hung in front. I wasn't even wearing shorts down below. When had I changed clothes?
ここは閉鎖病棟だからお見舞いの人も来ない。入院患者さんも男女と別フロアに分けられていて行き来はできない。精神科の看護師は全員男だし、君の病室は完全に個室。窓もない。つまり君は7年間女性と接触したことがないんだ。君の家族も含めてね。思い出したかな？
He was lying. He had to be. I hadn't been hospitalized at all. I was living on my own in Shibuya. I was a pretty well-known high-level player in ESO, and I even went to school. Sure, I only went in accordance with my minimum attendance chart. That was still 2 to 3 times a week. I just had a fairly professional, cordial chat with the nurse at the reception desk. Is this your first time here? Yes, it is. Alright, then please fill out this form as you wait.
嘘に決まってる。本当にそう思うのかい？
As he murmured that, Dr. Takashina scribbled something on the medical form he was holding. I couldn't tell what he was writing. It wasn't Japanese. Was it English? No, German?
だとしたら君の精神はまだ異常だっていうことだよ。もうしばらくは入院が必要だね。
He gave me a single fleeting glance. His eyes were full of pity, even though he'd never looked at me in such a way before. I collapsed to my knees helplessly. Tears poured from my eyes. Oh, I see. It all made sense now. All of my memories up until now had just been delusions. It was me all along. I was the crazy one. What a cruel twist that was. Then again, it wasn't like I cared anymore. Even if they were delusions, they weren't fond memories anyways. I mean, I could just make new ones, right? This time, a world without scary murders happening around me would be nice. I'd have a sociable personality, get good grades, and have some crazy talent. I'd be super popular with the ladies. My friends would all be hotties as hot as the hot swimsuit models. What's more, everyone loved the ever-loving shit out of me. Then I'd propose that we should all start living under the same roof. After that, my new life would begin. It wouldn't be easy, and it would have its ups and downs, but it would be fun. There'd even be a bit of slapstick thrown in there. I forced myself to laugh. My face twitched. I wanted to die.
That was a really long delusion.
I abruptly came to my senses, only to find myself sitting on a sofa in the lobby. A nasty sweat covered my entire body. A chill ran down my spine. Unable to grasp what exactly was going on, I frantically looked around the room. Beside me was a hunched-over old lady. Her eyes were covered in wrinkles, so I couldn't tell whether she was asleep or awake.
Actually, it's me.
Actually, it's me, Takumi. Shogun.
Ah!
I took a look at the clock above the reception desk. I saw that I'd been waiting in the lobby for a full hour. Had that all just been a dream? I hadn't slept last night, so had I dozed off while waiting? I gave a deep sigh of relief. It'd been a bad dream. It had been a dream, right? I tried remembering everything that had happened up until the day before. Nothing seemed out of place. My memories were continuous and consistent. I'd encountered the demon girl at the scene of the crime, and then I got deceived and subsequently threatened by Yua. Then I'd gone to the hospital to prove that I was of perfectly sound mind. Yep, everything added up. I wouldn't mind if it all ended up being a delusion, though. That way, creating another delusional world that I could go nuts in would have been much better. The fact that I was even thinking that just went to show how utterly sick I was with everything that had been happening in my life recently. In the end, I found myself waiting for another 2 hours before my name was finally called. When I entered the examination room, it almost felt like the same events I'd seen in that dream were happening again. Dr. Takashina even appeared almost exactly like he had in the dream. It was probably just that he'd barely changed since the last time I saw him 4 years ago.
今日はどうしました？
Dr. Takashina didn't say anything ridiculous like, your memories are delusions, this time, but...
西条です。ん？ああ、これはご丁寧に。高階です。はじめまして。
Okay, therapy session. Stay away from that lady. She's going to kill you.
タッキー外出嫌いなのに病院来るなんてすごい。
Okay. Yeah, I've done neither for this both times, so I'll just do positive. Give me that Ceraton fan service.
私前から思ってたんだけどさ、帰らなくてもいいよ。
どういうこと？
迎えに来たから。
An incredibly realistic whisper reached my ears. It felt almost like something was poking my cheek. I slowly opened my eyes.
Who the hell are you?
ボケなす。
Wait, I'd recognize that secret I'd recognize that secret wig-wearing face anywhere. Ceraton! Your wigs are as terrible as ever. Seriously, find a different store.
Beside the bed stood Stereoton, pre-transformation pre-transformation Amanogawa Seido version. And she certainly wasn't at 1/8 scale. She was life-sized, and she was moving smoothly. With a gulp, I sat up and tried to reach out, then reached out to try and poke Ceraton's breasts.
おお。
They were squishy, voluptuous. She's no figure. She's the real deal. Ceraton has joined the realm of 3D.
ノンノン、ここは二次元だよ。
Wait, it is? Even though they're so squishy?
二次元的にプニプニなんさ。
I didn't get what she meant. But as long as they were squishy, it wasn't like anything else mattered. I realized I'd touched her breasts out of sheer surprise, and I rapidly grew embarrassed. The life-sized Ceraton was insanely cute, so moe I could die. And most important of all, she was real. Thanks to that, the bashfulness that came from me touching her breasts, and the fear of her potentially hitting me for it, had become much stronger.
ごめんセーラタン。
タッキーならいいよ。
本当？
他の人にはこんなことされるのは嫌だけどさ、特に進むとか、あいつに胸触られたら金棒で月までぶっ飛ばしちゃってる。静かに。声出すと看護師さんたちに見つかっちゃうっしょ。
It'd be funny if Susumu was her actual love interest in the show.
Ceraton must have been being mindful of the world outside the curtain. Without making a sound, she then took off her shoes, climbed into the bed, and then on top of me. Almost saying something out loud again, I hurriedly covered my mouth. Ceraton was straddling me, her bare panties underneath her skirt, pressing against my crotch. This was bad. My Johnson was about to go berserk. Ceraton drew her face close to mine. A sweet aroma filtered into my nose. So that was how Ceraton smelled.
ねえねえ、タッキー。タッキーも二次元になっちゃうべきだよ。
What's that supposed to mean?
It means put yourself in a hydraulic press, you big dum-dum!
タッキーはまだ三次元なんさ。だから私が二次元にしてあげる。いいっしょ。
Can you really do that?
できるよ。それにすっごく気持ちいいよ。
I could hear the sound of nurses hurriedly walking about, as well as the voices of doctors examining other patients. We were in a place separated only by a single curtain. If that curtain were opened, we'd get found out for sure. That heart-pounding thought, combined with the taboo nature of doing something like this in a hospital, I was getting lightheaded. And to think I was committing such obscene acts with my number one waifu. So this is what bliss is. All other thoughts have been pushed out of my mind. And so, in response to everything Seraton said, I nodded.
そうこなくっちゃ。そんなタッキーが好き。
Then Seraton firmly pressed her lips against mine.
They actually made a CG for this.
She was so soft. Was this the softness of 2D? Was it more soft than the real thing? The sudden, borderline H scene turned my thoughts into pure spaghetti. I had no idea what the hell I should be doing. Then, on the face of my bewilderment, Seraton pushed her tongue between my lips, encroaching upon my mouth. It felt so good, I started to feel dizzy. To think a kiss would feel this amazing. I wanted her seductive, swirling tongue to violate my mouth forever.
Get that red phantom out of your mouth.
My arms wrapped around her waist. She was very thin, since she was 2D and all, flat as a board, and yet squishy and voluptuous at the same time. Wasn't this basically the same as kissing paper, though? But it felt so incredibly good that I didn't care. Seraton was terra sexy. Seraton sucked in my tongue. It was too much. It felt like I was gonna die. It was starting to get painful now. Seraton's suction was frighteningly strong. I tried pulling my tongue back, but I couldn't. She just sucked it in even more. She was pulling on it hard. So hard that it felt like it might rip off. And it wasn't just my tongue. The inside of my throat felt hot. My eyes felt like they were going to pop out of their sockets. I couldn't breathe. My chest hurt. The inside of my stomach churned and churned, turning into a pulpy, sopping mess. I was being sucked in.
This is the weirdest vor fetish I have ever seen.
Everything inside my body, my organs, my flesh, my bones, they were all being sucked in by Seraton. I could feel my pounding heart rising up from my throat, the thick blood vessels tearing off one by one. It was an impossible sensation. It was incomprehensibly painful, and yet it felt even more pleasurable. My entire body had become an erogenous zone. Yes, my entire body. Not just the outside, but the inside of my throat, my heart, my blood vessels, my lungs, my intestines. Having Seraton violate the inside of my body, suck it all in, and devour it whole. It made me so happy, and that happiness and the sheer ecstasy I was feeling, it made me feel faint. I'm gonna die. It feels so good that I'm gonna die.
How much longer is this gonna go on for?
After everything inside my body had been sucked out, Seraton pulled her lips away, satisfied. Her mouth was dripping with a mix of blood and drool.
タッキーのすごく美味しかった。
She gave a bewitching smile. I didn't have the energy to respond. She'd taken everything I had. It was the first time I'd ever experienced such overwhelming pleasure. I was in a total haze. Fog enshrouded my consciousness, and my thoughts were a blur.
ほら、タッキー、自分の体見てみて。タッキーもこれで二次元の住人だよ。
Although I was very unsteady, I tried to get off the bed and stand up. My body had become thin, just like Seraton's.
This has turned into Parappa the Rappa.
It was kind of hard to walk around. My body felt limp, and I could hardly stand. I fell to my hands and knees, hitting the floor without a sound. Seraton, I can't get up. Give me a hand here. Her voice came from above the bed.
二次元へようこそ。
Oh, finally.
I sprang up, only to find myself on the bed like before. My heart was pounding like crazy. My heart was still inside my chest where it should be. I touched every part of my body. It wasn't paper thin. I was still 3D. I couldn't see Seraton anywhere. As it should be.
夢か。
A very long one.
But was that a good thing or a bad thing? I let out a sigh. That scene was just like the one in the delusion I'd bought from Circle Piru Poro. In other words, I'd had a delusion using it as a basis. Why hadn't I noticed that in my dream? Well, I knew that it was a dream because I hadn't noticed. But I couldn't help thinking that regardless.
西条さん。
A voice called out to me from the other side of the curtain. The curtain quickly opened, and the nurse from before, Hosky-san, popped her head inside the room.
Oh, look, it's the second
おはようご
worst.
ざいます。
Wait, sorry, no. Seraton's the second worst girl. You are the worst girl. You murdered people. You're half of the murder duo.
I bowed my head silently, keeping my eyes low.
結局3時間ぐっすりでしたね。
Huh? Had I really slept for 3 whole hours? I'd been so lost in my dream that I'd completely lost all sense of time. Then again, I was pretty exhausted.
少しうなされていたみたいですけど、大丈夫？
No thanks to you.
Naturally, I couldn't mention my borderline wet dream straight to her face. Admitting to my maxed out libido stat would be pretty embarrassing.
でも、無遊病の症状は結局出ませんでしたよ。
Hosky-san's reassuring voice conveyed that to me.
Okay. So, this time, don't even bother filling it out. Oh, wait. Before I skip forward even more. Oops. Diagnostic results. You are not delusional in the slightest. Your personality may be a bit too pragmatic, but you lead a very fulfilling life. You're adept at socializing, you have many friends, you've had many romantic relationships, and you're doing very well in work and school. You're most likely living a life in which delusions aren't even necessary. I cannot possibly understand why someone like you would want to play a game like this. Please, continue to live your happy, fulfilling life in the three-dimensional world. I'm sure that there are many fun and exciting things ahead of you. A word from Misumi. Whenever you see someone grinning because they got some delusion running through their head, don't call him a freak. Instead, treat him like a friend. If you do that, chicks will dig you even more because
Chicks will dig you because they'll think you're a nice guy, and you'll be even more likable. Thank you for your words of wisdom, Isami-kun. Yada yada, so yada yada. Zooming through all this. Yeah, who cares? Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sua. You're the worst. You literally murdered everybody. I can't believe a dweeb like you actually murdered everybody. Seriously, you're like you're like one of the least interesting murder mystery culprits I have ever seen. Seriously. And you murdered a super fun detective. So, like, yeah, you're pretty cringe, bro. Pretty cringe. Not you, Misumi. You're pretty cool. Okay. I guess just go through it like normal. Neutral. Before I knew it, I was rushing outside. I ran down the stairs outside Gigantus and crouched down on the bottom step. I tried my hardest to catch my breath and calm down, but to little avail. I really shouldn't have gone in there. My heart was pounding. My entire body was drenched in sweat.
おい、どうしたんだよ、タク。いきなり飛び出して。
Misumi-kun had followed me. He sounded upset.
もう出ちまうのかよ。これからさらに盛り上がりそうだったのに。で、どうだよ、フェスは。可愛かったろ。
Without looking up at him, I shook my head. Who cared about that? Sure, she was cute, but I wasn't into 3D girls. More than anything, those lyrics. I hadn't caught everything, but from the little I'd heard, there was no way they hadn't been talking about the new gen cases. Of course, there was no definitive proof. But Fess definitely knew something. I could feel it. I couldn't tell whether or not she worked for the demon girl, though. The girl, now dyed a brilliant red, looks back from beneath a full moon. But I mean, she looked straight at me. That hadn't been a delusion, and it wasn't a misunderstanding on my part either. There was no doubt about it. Vess had looked at me. Just what were the emotions swelling in her eyes? What meaning did they hold? Why had her expression looked so painful? I didn't know. Maybe I'd find out if I asked her directly, but that would never happen. I couldn't set foot in that concert venue ever again, let alone speak with Vess.
もう二度と来るもんか。
Wiping the sweat off my forehead, I managed to squeeze out those words. I logged straight onto ESO as soon as I got back from the Phantasm concert. The potato chips I had with me were already soggy, but I couldn't care less. They were still surprisingly tasty. Yada yada.
ねえ、ナイトハルト。
Okay. So I chose positive for this last time. Wait, sorry, what chapter is this again? Okay, chapter 2. So, pick negative this time, I guess. And then the monitor was enveloped in a dazzling light. Taken aback by how random and sudden it was, I shut my eyes.
気づいてないと思ったのか。
I heard a voice.
いつも俺はお前の命令に従ってきたのに。
The voice was coming from the monitor.
俺の中の人がここまでバカだとは思わなかったぜ。
Who are you? I tried opening my eyes, but the light from before had completely paralyzed me. I couldn't see a thing.
He's
もう
just
いい。俺はお前を捨てる。
he's just that much of a Chad that you can't even look him right. You can't even comprehend his true form, Takumi. You have the darkest darkness, that is the Virgin Takumi, has created the brightest brightness, that is the Chad Nightheart.
これからは自由に生きる。
No way. Are you Nightheart? What do you mean you're casting me out?
そのままの意味だ。だからお前はバカなんだ。
I'm the one that made your character. You're gonna rebel against me?
そうだ。もううんざりだ。
Man, another JRPG that ends in killing God, or in this case Takumi, who is your god.
何が疾風陣雷だ。中二病にも程があるだろう。お前にわかるか。俺がどんな気持ちでそう呼ばれていたか。お前はかっこいいつもりだったかもしれないがな。俺からすれば恥ずかしいだけなんだよ。でも俺は自分の言葉を発することもできず、じっと耐えるしかなかったんだ。
うるさい。生意気だぞ。そんなこと言うなら消すぞ。
勝手にしろ。だがな、これだけは覚えておく。お前が俺をボタン一つで消せるように、お前もお前の中の人にボタン一つで消される程度の存在なんだ。
Indeed, I could. I could very well delete you, Takumi.
What the heck?
まあ実際にはそんなことあるわけないけどね。
I forced a laugh in response to my delusion and stared at Nightheart. Just as always, he stood completely still and silent in the world of Basilard. I think I'll take things a bit easier today. With that thought in mind, I resumed my play session.
Hello, Nanami. Get him a phone. He needs one. Yeah, look at that sky, the sky. Yeah, really a skyless sky. Oh no, it's more incest time.
Nishijo Nanami had a spring in her step. Fiddling with her cell phone, she hummed to herself as she walked. Having finally managed to drag her shut-in older brother out of the house and into the world, she had taken him to buy a cell phone. Upon selecting one and attaching a Garo Froggy strap to it, she had completed her mission. And now she was in a very good oh no, are we gonna see her kidnapping? It's been so long since last I saw my son lost to this monster, to the man behind the slaughter.
That's right. Suwa Mamoru, the man behind the slaughter. He was proper guy all along.
It's been so long since I went somewhere with my big
Man, I cannot do little girl voices.
That's so refreshing to her. She was not entirely sure how many times they had gone out together in the past. When she tried to recall, she found her memories far too hazy. As they were siblings, one would think that they would spend time together fairly often, and not ever have delusions of diddling each other, but that was not the case for them. Well, nothing wrong with a little date with my brother every now and then, right? It's a good chance to work on that gloomy attitude of his, and hopefully get him to be a bit nicer to us in the process.
Us? Who is us?
She continued to
Oh, her and her parents. She continued to sort out her thoughts, and while waiting for the light to change at the scramble crossing, she took the opportunity to type out an email to her brother. Then the walk signal flickered on, and the swarm of pedestrians began moving once more. Nanami kept her eyes glued to the screen, letting the flow of the crowd carry her along. As one would expect, the flood of people in front of Shibuya Station made writing an email while walking nearly impossible. Distracted, Nanami slammed into the shoulder of a passing middle-aged businessman, nearly knocking him over. She bowed her head at the man, received a sharp glare in return, and slipped the phone back into her bag. She figured she should probably stop typing for now. She would have plenty of time on the train to do so. A moment later, she noticed a familiar face among the human stampede passing through the ticket gate. Oh, we're actually going to see them interact. Actually, is this... Yeah, this is the first time that Rimi would physically appear in the story. I mean, aside the delusion. Sakihata Rimi was startled to see the girl who had called her name. She averted her eyes, her demeanor nowhere near as friendly as Nanami's. Paying no mind to this, Nanami closed the distance between them. She seemed strangely distant. Trying to figure out why that might be, Nanami guessed that Rimi might have been waiting on a date. She could say for sure it was not with her brother, though, given how he had just left for his home just moments before, and he has apparently sold his soul to you now. Given that her brother would rather wallow in his own filth than step out into society, it was easy to imagine he and Rimi did not talk very often. As she thought to herself, Nanami tilted her head. She felt a strange unease regarding the gaps in her memories. Rimi didn't say a word. She simply gazed up awkwardly at the Jumbotron displaying Omura Carrera's newest music video. Nanami continued to dig through her memories to find anything on Rimi, to find anything on her brother's relationship with Rimi. She should have known something. It seemed impossible for her not to, and yet her search returned fruitless. When she saw Rimi's face, her name came to mind, and she even called it out. However, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't find a single memory of the girl. Despite her best efforts, it was as if the memory had completely slipped from her grasp. It was not even just on the tip of her tongue. No, everything was a total blank. She was awash with an awful sensation. For some reason unfamiliar to her, her chest began to tighten. Gaslight gatekeep girl boss. As if a switch had been flipped somewhere, the air of apprehensives completely vanished as Rimi turned to Nanami, smiling warmly. Force the delusion into her head. Glad she mentions it. Nanami thought. Maybe I really did say that. Still, part of her insisted that it wasn't true. Not entirely convinced, but not really caring too much at the same time, she decided to forget about it for now.
お兄とは最近会ってます？会ってるよ。だってクラスメートだし。でもあんまり学校行ってないんですよね。お兄のお尻蹴っ飛ばしてあげてください。いっつも引きこもってるんだもん。ナナの言うことはちっとも聞いてくれないし。了解。それじゃあナナ帰りますね。遅くなるとお母さんに怒られちゃう。またね。
Where is your home, anyways? Who are your parents?
Nanami waved goodbye to Rimi as she made her way toward the station. She still could not pin down a single memory of that girl. She also found it strange that, despite the time of day, the girl had been wearing something casual instead of her uniform. Even so, there was a much more pressing matter on her mind. Are Rimi and Takumi actually in a relationship? No freaking way. Nanami cracked a wry smile at the very idea. Like she once said herself, that would be the end of the world.
The end of Rimi's world. She's our yandere. One slur. More deaths. You a flashback. Sword girl. She has a sword. A very swordy sword. Sword. What a sordid affair. Okay. As you may or may not be able to tell, my throat may possibly be dying. I've been speaking out loud for so long today. Okay. Wait, what am I doing? Okay. Wait, no, right. I was checking to see what chapter it is. Okay, chapter 3. Okay, so I picked negative once, and last time I picked neutral, so I will go for positive, maybe?
Girl B looked down at me coldly. Man, she was really close. Her bare legs were right in front of me. And at this angle, I can almost see up her skirt. Every time I see that in a work of fiction, I want to bash my brains in.
やはり見えるのか。
すいません。見てないです。
I frantically lowered my gaze. I knew for a fact she was gonna accuse me of looking at her panties. I didn't see them, I swear. I almost saw them when I did earlier. Besides, the girl I don't care.
嘘だ。絶対見た。
Of course, the delusion is about the very subject that I was getting sick of. Well, let's just get this over with. Woo.
さっきからチラチラ見てただろ。
本当に見てない。
And for some reason I couldn't comprehend, Girl B slipped off one of her shoes and then she began to take off one of her knee socks. In the midst of this, the area underneath her skirt became visible yet again, leaving me at a loss for where to look. I tried to find an opening to escape, but Girl B refused to take her eyes off of me as she continued removing her sock. Ugh. Yep, just out there for the foot fetishists, I guess. I am not into that whatsoever, but have a wild one today, guys. This is your episode, apparently. A now barefoot girl assumed an imposing stance, curving her lips in a scornful manner. Suddenly, Girl B's warm barefoot stepped directly onto my crotch. The sudden humiliation rendered me hopelessly embarrassed.
どうだ
やめ
The people walking around didn't even look at us. Why couldn't there be at least one person who came to my rescue? What a cold society we live in.
だんだん大きくなってきたぜ
Having this happen to me and right smack in the middle of Center Guy, it was mortifying, but I was enjoying it.
あーダメ
答えろ見えるんだなディソードが
When I came back to myself, I couldn't immediately grasp what was going on, leading me to blankly stare up at Girl B. She was still wearing her shoes and she wasn't stepping on my crotch or anything, whatever. Has that actually been a delusion? So she wasn't trying to accuse me of seeing her panties. At any rate, a D-sword. The hell was that? It wasn't the first time I'd ever heard the word. Girl B had said that it was a sword, and whatever she was carrying had definitely been shaped like a sword. But why was she asking me if I could see it? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Sorry, I think my mind was just broken there for a moment. Anyways, I honestly do not remember what I chose for this part. So, okay, let's see. Okay, I think I went neutral last time. Let's see.
私
Okay, yeah, there we
好
go.
きな人がいるのよ
Okay, you better not step on his crotch.
マジ何それって俺のこと
I'm starting to get a feeling that, whoever wrote this just likes people stepping on crotches.
そこの人
そこ
The person over there. What a way to describe your crush.
Over where? Who was she talking about? She wasn't pointing anywhere, nor doing anything that would clue us in as to who she was referring to. She just kept looking at me, and only me. Wait, was the person she liked me?
この前ライブに来てたわね
And that was a night where I was just absolutely down on my luck, just absolutely devastated. And I saw you there, and just the earnest, terrified look in your eyes just reminded me of the innocence of humanity. And at that very moment, I fell in love, and I knew I needed to have you. That's how it usually goes in harem plots.
Vess began to walk out toward me, still refusing to avert her gaze. My surroundings began to buzz. Everyone was listening in on the unexpected confession of Shibuya's famous songstress, Vess.
いや俺もライブに行って
一目で悟ったわ
Yes, but you're cool, so I don't like you. Vess wasn't listening to a single thing Misumi-kun said. She grabbed my necktie with one hand and pulled me in close enough that I could clearly feel her breath against my skin. This was not a distance you could maintain with someone you were close friends with, nor was it one to be shared between family members.
Well, about that,
Anyways, it was a distance, a closeness, reserved only for lovers.
君は私の運命の人だ。
When nary even a smile, Bess slowly brushed my cheek with her fingertips. The sheer seductiveness of the gesture sent chills down my spine. I was entranced. Bess had me. I couldn't take my eyes off her.
決めたわ。私、君の
Throw you out this window, you freaking nerd.
お嫁さんになる。
That declaration was so far removed from the normal aloofness and decadence that Bess always carried. And yet the sheer contrast between them proved unbearably cute, and it started to sound like an entire auditorium of people was cheering, despite the fact that this was a hallway with like 10 to 20 people. Everyone around us was effectively throbbing with excitement upon hearing Bess's proposal to me. Misumi-kun was so utterly mortified upon losing to me that he came crashing down to his knees, crestfallen.
僕の意見は無視ですか？
No, you gotta stomp on your crotch.
嫌じゃないです。
I felt like I was being swept away by a river of temptation. If I got to marry a beautiful girl like her, I would win at life right then and there. And thus began the heart-pounding love story of me and Bess. Donkey Donkey!
Just kidding. Step back to reality. Actually, now that I think about it, that's like the joke of this game. Step back to reality. I feel like whatever community this game has just absolutely went wild when that meme was a thing. Like, that never happened.
While I was over here drowning in my moronic delusions, Bess was murmuring something in a low voice, only to up and disappear soon after.
自信なくすぜ。くそー。
Misumi-kun was sulking, having been completely and utterly disregarded. Considering how she was able to deter an alpha male, commentate W, of his caliber, like he was no lower than a spur on the boot of hers, to deter him like he was nothing more than a typical monsieur. Maybe the other team was what Bess preferred, a true Yuri connoisseur.
Yuri, an archetype that refers to women that see other women as romantic interests, aka a genre for completely normal romantic relationships between women, except oftentimes aimed at guys.
それはすごくいいスールです。
What the hell does this... What? What the hell does that mean? I gotta look this up. So, like it's pronounced sewer? I'm apparently it's French for sister. Urban Dictionary, maybe. No. No. Okay. I just have no idea what he's talking about whatsoever. If somebody could kindly inform me, assuming that you're watching a video that's been going on for like an hour already and haven't skipped to the reaction to the weird incest ending I'm probably barreling towards right now, then yeah, please tell me. I genuinely don't know.
Especially if she...
Oh, God.
Especially if she was a lolly type character like Nanami. That's the stuff.
あんな不愛想な女、もう二度と相手にしてやるもんかよ。あー、うぜえ。
Says the guy who went to visit her in the hospital.
だいたい何が剣を見つけろだ。わけわかんねえ。剣？ああ。 岸本がそう言ってただろ。剣を見つけろ。そうすれば救われるって。
Ah, thank you for delivering the exposition.
Salvation.
なあ、タク。ファンタズムの歌にそんな歌詞でもあるのか？
Find your sword! Find your D-sword! Just masterful lyrics.
A sword. Could that possibly be referring to the mic stand thing she'd been using during the concert? Come to think of it, there'd been another person a couple of days ago that interrogated me about a sword.
Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to? I actually don't know how that song goes. Damn it.
Wouldn't it be nice if the transfer student were some holy messenger sent here to protect me and slay the demon? Whoever Remy was, I had no doubt she was dangerous. My life was being eroded, and I knew that for a fact. Unless things changed, I'd be a dead man walking.
だから私が来たの。
Wait, she's talking out loud! That's not normal.
Suddenly, the transfer student turned her gaze toward me and whispered that. No way.
たくみくん、私はここに殺すために来ました。悪魔を滅ぼします。
I don't know why that made me laugh.
Ugh. Even though the transfer student's eyes were welling with tears, they were also filled with determination.
Dun 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 dun. Damn it, I mixed up two Undertale tracks.
Anyways, despite her timid appearance, I felt like I could trust her. There was no doubt that from an outsider's perspective, her words were blatantly nonsensical. I was the only person in the sea of confused people who wasn't perplexed by her first words. In fact, I was screaming for joy. Internally, of course.
I'm saved!
No doubt, an exorcist organization sent this girl to dispose of Remy. Fuck yeah! Kill that bitch!
たく、騙されないで。
Remy's panicked voice rang out from behind me.
その転校生の狙いは私じゃない。タクだよ。その子の言うことを聞いちゃダメ。悪魔さん、惑わすのはやめなさい。あなたはここで終わりです。
Okay, now I understand. It's because she's talking so formally.
悪魔はあなたでしょ。
うるさいな。
Right now, I didn't care who the real demon was, nor who my real ally was.
僕はブラチューと演奏をして毎日を平穏に過ごせればそれでいいんだ。お前たちがどうなろうか知ったことじゃない。とりあえず2人で殺し合ってくれると助かる。で、相打ちで2人とも死亡ってエンディングを希望。
Following those words, I could feel a rising unease spread throughout the room. A transfer student whose name I didn't know, and a demon girl who'd only been in this class since the day before yesterday. Each glaring daggers at each other from their own separate corners of the room, the tension between them burning like a fuse trailing toward a pack of TNT.
In Minecraft,
The homeroom teacher and the rest of the students were on the edge of their seats, watching intently as the events unfolded.
いいよ。タクの言う通りにしてあげる。私も異論はないです。殺してあげろ。暗殺者。あなたを殺します、悪魔さん。
that looked pretty goofy.
And then they both sprang into action. Of course, something like that would never actually happen. The Whoops, sorry. The transfer students remained as sheepish as ever, not uttering so much as a peep. Rimi also didn't say a word. Whoops, sorry. In fact, she didn't give any any indication that she was here at all. Scared whispers grew to murmurs as the transfer student maintained her silence. So, in order to comfort her, the teacher placed his hand on her shoulder.
どうやら折原は緊張しているようだな。よし、挨拶はいい。みんな、この子は折原梢だ。仲良くしてやってくれ。折原、席は一番後ろだ。席についていいぞ。
The transfer student made her way to the back without saying a word, keeping her head low to the ground. Her seat was 4 rows behind mine. Should I pretend to watch her so I can catch a glimpse of the people behind me? Problem was I draw a lot of...
Why is it not skipping? Why is it not skipping? I've literally seen this.
その人って
Huh?
悪い人なの？だったらね、本
Oh,
当に殺して
okay.
あげてもいいよ。
Oh, okay. I guess she can talk this early on then. Well, that's a disturbing way to introduce yourself.
The transfer student walked right by my seat. Taken aback, I glanced at her face. Our eyes met, only for her to immediately avert her gaze and continue walking. What was that voice? No doubt it had just been another one of my delusions. I'd been feeling overwhelmed by them lately, almost as if reality and delusion were blending together. Still lacking the courage to turn around, my body stiffened further.
Yeah, stairs, roof, weird phone call. Okay, I think I need to pick positive for this. Okay.
Guess I'd go ahead and listen to it.
あのさ、私だけど、別にあんたの声が聞きたいから電話したわけじゃないんだからね。なんとなく暇だったからとかその程度の理由だから、分かった？でもクラスが別になって最近話す機会が少なくなったね。あんた、私のことどう思ってるわけ？
Who the hell is this?
例えばさ、私に告ってみようとか思わないわけ？別にあんたに告られたからって私は嬉しくもなんともないんだからね。
I want to punch every tsundere that exists in the throat.
そもそも私が OK する保証は万に一つぐらいしかないんだし。
Okay, not everyone. Not every.
I've seen a few good characters that have qualified as tsunderes, but girls like this, I will punch them in the throat.
And boys too.
Everyone, just everyone.
でもさ、行動しなくちゃ何も始まらないって思わない？とにかくあんたは試しに告ってみること。わかった？じゃあ今日の放課後伝説の木の下で待ってるから急いできなさいよ。来なかったら承知しないんだからね。
Well, she has a better voice actress than most tsunderes. What the hell was that?
I mean, it could happen. JK. I fucking wish though, LMAO.
Of course you have. Of course you like tsunderes.
There's no Tree of Legends or whatever the fuck at this school, lol. And who was the tsundere supposed to be anyway, oh male? Her personality settings were pretty lackluster. I should have at least made her more like Seraton. This wasn't the time to be indulging in my delusions, was it? Nope. Feeling empty inside, I sighed and decided to listen to the actual voice message. I examined my surroundings, making sure the demon girl wasn't there, then put the phone up to my ear.
See what you suck. Get out of talk to me, school. Box lunch place. Yeah. There's no one here. Okay. Positive?
No one came out. Maybe there really wasn't anyone here. Fine, if that was the case then. I grabbed the boxed lunch off the counter and headed straight for the automated door. I stood in front of the door and it opened automatically, but just as I was about to step outside,
待て
an employee finally emerged from the back room behind the cash register. He was a bleary. I've never heard that word before. Gloomy-looking guy, most likely a college student. He leaned over the counter and glared at me with dull eyes.
お前今万引きしようとしただろ
I shrugged my shoulders and walked back to the register.
あんたが出てこないからでしょすいません居眠りしてました
The employee bowed his head with a shit-eating grin. It felt like he was mocking me. I was pissed. This convenience store clearly didn't give a shit about training its part-timers.
しねえ当然タダで持って帰ってもいいよねはそれとこれとは別じゃないですかあんたの責任なんだからあんたが代金立て替えろよふざけんなニート野郎この
I swung at him without thinking. My incredibly fast straight punch hit him square in the nose. With a pathetic yelp, he flew backwards, collided with the shelf, then fell to the ground. A magnificent punch, if I do say so myself.
すいません
As blood gushed from his nose, the employee got down on his hands and knees and bowed with tears in his eyes.
お金は結構さだから帰ってください
What is this, Yakuza?
分かればいいんだよ
While I was at it, I swiped four of the dorayaki that were on display by the register and headed for the door, satisfied.
二度と来るかバカ
Throwing out that line to get the perfect last word, I leisurely exited the store. Several minutes had passed while I was having my delusion. There was still no sign of any employees. I had no intention of staining my hands with Dokyun behavior, despite my delusion just now. That being said, I also couldn't bring myself to yell out for an employee either. So I just stood there in the deserted store without moving. I wanted to believe that the employee was just taking a nap, so I waited for another 5 minutes. But while I waited, no employees showed up, nor did any customers enter the store. There wasn't even as much as a sound.
Yada yada yada. Hi Shogun. Hi. Don't look at me. Please don't look at me, bro. I'm self-conscious. Oh, look at those bodies. Really gross. Chapter 4. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Rumi? Hi. Oh, CoZ away. Oh, she fell down the stairs. What a little wimp. Hi guys, what's up? You're my bros. Yeah, the bros, the iconic trio. Okay, I think I haven't done negative yet. Okay, yeah, let's... Okay, let's suffer.
I had to say something. I had to say something.
Oh. He wasn't able to speak at all.
What should I say? The more I thought about it, the more trapped I felt, and the more my mind went blank.
Is this just gonna be ellipses? Nothing but ellipses? And
Yeah.
suddenly Remy sniffled. I was so surprised that I looked up out of reflex. She's just having trouble breathing because she keeps letting out sighs, and she forgets to inhale.
She was crying. I didn't know why, but tears were falling from her eyes in large drops. I was getting increasingly confused, but I stayed silent like an idiot, unable to think of anything else to do.
私
Remy murmured in a shaking voice.
嫌われちゃってるのかな。ごめん。もう話しかけないからごめんね。私邪魔だよね。
Remy turned on her heel and quickly made her way out the classroom. I wanted to yell after her.
No, you're wrong!
I wanted to say,
Sorowachigaoyo!
I don't hate you at all. I just had no idea what to do or say.
I waffled.
Over whether or not I should chase after her, but in the end I couldn't leave my seat. If I did chase after her, what would I even say? Could I even say anything? Seriously, what would I even say? I like you? I'm glad we're friends? I couldn't do that. I didn't know her. It was true that I'd been saved thanks to her, but to me, she was still some mystery person who'd appeared completely out of nowhere. I know you probably hate me, was what she'd said, but I couldn't tell her whether or not that was true. After all, I didn't have the memories to help me decide whether I hated her or liked her.
Tisk, tisk.
That was when Misumi-kun, who was supposed to have been with the transfer student, came back. He gave me a sympathetic look.
I too know what it feels like to just have a sign competition with other people. Where you just go like two old people in an infirmary.
泣かせちまったな。あいつ前に俺に相談してきてたんだぜ。タクのことが好きなんだけど全然気づいてもらえないって。
What the hell? When did that happen? I held my head and shook it violently.
だってわからないんだ。さっぱりわからないんだよ。わかるかわからないか、そんな理屈の話じゃねえだろ。ま、結局お前は一生ニートやってろってこった。
After that, I didn't get the chance to talk to Remy all the way until I graduated. Even when we saw each other again in class, we would both avoid each other. And then, after graduating, I became a NEET, just like Misumi-kun had predicted. And I never saw Remy again for the rest of my life. So that was what the bad end would probably be like. Pretty damn depressing. But it was still true that I didn't know anything about Remy. Like I thought, the only option was to just keep quiet and not do anything.
タク
Taku.
Remy, who had been silent the entire time, finally called out to me, albeit hesitantly. But I couldn't respond due to how sudden it was. To her, it probably felt like I was ignoring her. In my head, I knew I couldn't keep acting like this. But in the end, I still couldn't get myself to do anything.
大丈夫？
This time I nodded frantically. Probably made me look pretty suspicious.
そうだったらいいんだ。
Yumi's voice was gentle. I could hardly believe it, but she seemed like she was going to continue patiently being with me, even though I was being silent. Are you okay? Was what she'd said. I automatically stopped dead in my tracks. What if she got up and attacked me with a D-sword right this very moment? The very thought scared the hell out of me. Giving in to my ear, I began to follow Senna's order. I took one step into the train car. Right as I did, I immediately reconsidered. It was exactly what Senna would want me to do. A moth to a flame, a flag to a spider's web. I couldn't do that. How could I waltz right on into my own death like that? I should run away. That was a much better idea. From the chain, it was easy to tell that this girl had some absurd, superhuman strength. With just a single twist of her arm, I could helplessly pin to the ground, and she would break my arm right after, and then stomp on my crotch. And that wouldn't be the end of it. She had a D-sword. If I were to be slashed with a sword that thick and gigantic, I would die instantly. This girl was laying in wait for me. She was plotting something. Run away, now. I turned on my heel to get off the train.
Why is this literally just a photograph of the interior of a train? This is literally a photograph. This is not... Yeah, this is literally a photograph.
Without me noticing it, the exit had closed. I had only just walked in. It hadn't even been more than a couple seconds, and yet, with no sound and no movement, the door had closed all on its own. I was petrified. I couldn't figure out what had just happened. When had the door closed? Who had closed it? It didn't seem like it opened and closed automatically. And even if it was an automatic door, surely I would have heard it. Senna was still sitting down on the seat. She hadn't moved a muscle. So she couldn't have been the one to close it. And it obviously couldn't have been me. I hadn't even touched the door. I wondered if there was someone nearby who could be the owner. But I couldn't see anyone outside the window who looked like it. No, whoever had closed it didn't matter right now. I shifted my gaze over to the other doorway sitting at the back of the car. It was closed, too. I'm trapped. Senna and I were the only ones on the train. What did that mean? All sorts of negative thoughts flew through my head, and I nearly screamed aloud.
いつまで
Senna, still glaring at me, of course, spoke up once again.
そこに突っ立っているつもりだ
I feel like I haven't processed a single thing I've said since he stepped into this train.
If I didn't do as she said, Yua would kill me. Believing that would happen, I didn't resist and just nodded along.
どうしても伝えたかった。好き。好きなの。分かって。大好き。分かってる。私のものになってお願い。
I thought that confessions were supposed to be romantic, heartrending, and happy. But this wasn't like that. This was terrifying. Every word had sent chills down my spine. In a situation like this, I'd normally confess my love as well, but here, it felt like I'd be signing my own death sentence if I did. I had no choice but to be clear and refuse. The girl was nothing more than a stalker. If I didn't refuse here and now, I'd be totally fucked. I forcefully shook off Yua's hand.
お断りだ。警察に突き出そう。
Oh my gosh! Freaking fly. Yua's expression became tense, as if in shock. She hung her head, and her demeanor instantly turned timid.
そんなに嫌われてたなんてごめんなさい。もう付きまといません。さようなら西条くん。
She pulled herself away and turned her back to me. Her shoulders drooped. And then she shakily walked out of the private room. I'd said it. Ha 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 ha, I'd said it. Seeing you crying like that actually made me feel relieved. I couldn't help but be happy that I'd finally been freed of that stalker, so much so that I unconsciously struck a victory pose. Only to suddenly come back to myself. Since life was never that easy, you were in front of me, covering my mouth.
西条くんのこと騙してたわけだし。
I'll just pick I'll just pick negative because I don't feel like dealing with more horny shit.
As Misumi-kun had said before, Tess really did have a great body, huh?
When she was wearing her school uniform, it wasn't really all that noticeable, but when she wore tight clothes like this camisole, it came across very well. She was tall, had moderately sized breasts and an extremely curvy waist, and most importantly of all, her legs that were sticking out of her miniskirt. They were long, slender, and well-toned. She looked like a model. I was sure a girl with a body this good would look great in a swimsuit. Oh wait, just a second here. I hadn't considered it until now, but school swimsuit might work well too. They always chill fast wearing a school swimsuit, and that thigh gap was almost too much for me. Well, that was pointless. Anyways.
what the fuck?
Okay then. Okay then. We are doing this.
ああ、
Spess wearing only a school swimsuit. Fess is standing right behind me. Fess is also standing on the stairs right in front of me. Two of the same person in the same place. Not only that, one of them was wearing a school swimsuit. Completely and utterly flustered, I relentlessly... I'm sorry, this is just ridiculous. I relentlessly snapped back and forth between the two Fesses over and over again, comparing them. They were exactly the same, right down to their facial features, height, and hairstyles. The only difference was their clothes, and whether or not they were carrying a sword. They weren't twins or anything like that, and they didn't just look alike. They were one and the same. I was used to seeing girls in school swimsuits in Eroge, but here I couldn't handle it for some reason. Fess was standing in the middle of this disgusting underpass, and only a school swimsuit. And not only that, but there was a name tag on her chest with the name Kishimoto written on it in permanent marker. Moe. I felt like I was about to lose my mind from how unbelievable this situation was. Even though I knew I shouldn't look at her, I couldn't help but feel like I was this close to stealing a glance anyway. It took a lot of willpower in order to keep my eyes down.
ごめん。
Remain loyal to your sister.
I automatically apologized, because I knew that only a few minutes ago I'd had a delusion about this very thing. Fess is wearing a school swimsuit.
君が望んだ妄想よ。
The two Fesses said this at the same time, as if they could see right through me. I jumped, startled. I could feel my face rapidly turning red. I needed an excuse. I needed a way out of this. If a 3D girl labeled me as a pervert, I'd be over. I'd be socially obliterated. A Okay, wait. While that may be important, the more pressing matter is what the hell is happening? I stood up abruptly, threw my bag over my shoulder, and looked toward the door to the classroom,
You want a jump scare?
only to find her standing there, looking at me.
Oh, what is the meaning of any of this?
I instinctively screamed. At least half of my classmates were still in the classroom. Every one of their icy gaze pierced at me. Stop it! Run! Don't look at me! Run away! Please don't look at me! Get out of here! In a pure state of panic, I blew past my classmates and burst out of the classroom via the door Yua wasn't standing at.
Okay, I know this one, so positive.
Mimi's cheeks blushed slightly in embarrassment. And then, having seemingly made up her mind, she whispered something to me.
私のこと好きにしていいよ。
When I understood the meaning behind her words, my brain stopped computing. I couldn't tell if she was joking or being serious. I tried to look away, but before I could,
しゃがんで。
so I could step on your crotch. Mimi glanced at our surroundings and pressed down on my shoulders hard. Without really knowing why, I obeyed her. I crouched down and leaned against the CD shelves, hugging my knees. Mimi also crouched down in front of me. I was completely lost. What the hell was she planning?
膝伸ばして。
Did she want me to sit directly on the floor? I didn't want to act like such a dope-cute, but Mimi didn't wait for my consent. She grabbed both my calves and forced my legs to straighten out. I couldn't stop myself from sliding down to the floor.
Okay then.
As my legs hit the floor, Mimi got on top of me.
ちょ
Rimi put her index finger on my lips. She wanted me to stay quiet, evidently. But doing something like this inside a store. As if she read my mind, Rimi started giggling.
ここインディーズのコーナーってお客さんあんまり来ないよね。
Wow, that's rude to indie artists.
こうしてしゃがんだら周りから見えなくなっちゃう。
They work so hard to get recognition and you're just dismissing them as
Not many customers.
what was she implying? Sex. Sex.
たく
Sex. Sex. Sex.
Rimi moved her face in even closer. Her breath stroked my cheeks.
Sex.
Sex. It was hot.
Sex.
I can avert my gaze from Rimi's shimmering eyes. Sex. I couldn't feel it. I could feel myself being sucked right into them. Sex. It was like I was under some magic spell. Sex.
Sex. Sex. Sex.
Rimi was staring straight at me, just as I was at her. Sex. Sex. As we stared at each other, Rimi's hands began to move. Sex. Sex. And then we started undoing my blazer, one button at a time. Sex. 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 Paying me no mind, Rimi's hand grabbed hold of my tie. With one pull, she unfastened it, and then she began unbuttoning my shirt. Sex. 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 Sex.
Sex. Despite what she just said, Rimi Slender's hands continued to move. They artfully slid beneath my shirt and onto my bare chest. Sex. Sex. Her cool hand slowly glided across my skin. Sex. 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 What a bewitching smile. Sex. Sex. She had always been so cheerful and energetic, never once admitting any kind of sexual vibe or intense sex, but now the expression on her face made my heart throb. Sex. 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 Oh god, I just said that out loud. Sex. Sex. That alone went to show how shaken I really was. Sex. 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 It means you're so unbelievably sexy. Sex. Sex. Rimi's fingers slowly crept along my skin, and then they traveled down my neck. Sex. Sex. It tickled. It felt better than anything I'd ever felt before. Sex. 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 Following my instincts, I nodded repeatedly. Sex. Sex. Then. Sex. 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 I can't believe my own ears. Did she mean sex? Sex. 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 Sex.
おーい
Suddenly, I came back to myself. Rimi was waving her hand in front of my face, her eyebrows furrowed in confusion. I wasn't sitting on the floor, and Rimi wasn't on top of me. You think? We were just standing there, facing each other, sex, like normal people did.
どうしたの？急に意識がどこかに飛んじゃってたみたいだけど。
でもない。
落ち着け。
I took a step back from Rimi, turned my back to her, and took a deep breath. Sex. Holy shit, that had been the hottest delusion of all time. Sex. I was so fucked up. Not to mention a self-loathing idiot. I can't believe I just thought that. Sex. Actually, no, forget that. Rimi was the one who was talking about giving me something in return. You'd see the line before about an infinite number of H scenes. Any guy who even dipped his toes into the genre would have had his imagination go wild over it. Sex. Anyway, what was she actually planning to do for me? Sex.
その調子だと話聞いてなかったでしょ。
Sex.
じゃあもう一回言うけど、私のお気に入り CD を貸すっていうので手を打ってくれないかな。
は？
Sex.
ねえねえ、いいでしょ？お願いします。
Sex.
この通り。
Life was a cruel mistress. Sex. Though I suppose it was my fault for expecting anything. Sex. Come to think of it, I wasn't supposed to be into 3D girls at all. Yet I just had a delusion about doing sex with Rimi. Why? When I agreed to Rimi's proposal, she delightfully struck a victory pose. That sight was so amusing to me that, sex, despite the critical condition I was in, I couldn't help but laugh. Sex. I'm going insane. I probably just bumped my mic, but whatever. Back then. Yep, just, we absolutely need. We just absolutely need to see the dialogue is different because she's wearing a school swimsuit. And she was wearing a school swimsuit for some reason. She also, yeah, I don't care. I do not care. Shut, I don't care. I've seen this before. What? Think of it. I had been pondering how moe would be if Ayase wore a school swimsuit. Anyways. Yep. Go away. Hey, yep. Whatever. Okay. Good. We done? Oh no, I was probably just jumping to the conclusions.
Okay, and this should be... Okay, I probably chose normal last time, so I'll try positive.
Leaving Remy to stare at the PC screen with her eyebrows furrowed, I picked up the toy D-sword sitting in the corner of my room. I went to stand in the center of my room. I brought my sword to eye level like I was an ESO character. I closed my eyes. I tried to conjure the image of a sword in my mind. I naturally imagined it to be something similar to the beautiful, sinister swords that Senna and Ayase had, each complete with a sharpness that could sever anything it touched. Having delusions was my specialty. After all, I had all sorts of delusions on a daily basis. If I wanted to, I could recreate every single detail both vividly and clearly in my head. Once the image...
Oh, whoops, sorry. I kind of jumped the gun there.
Once the image was as precise as it was going to get, I planted my feet, gritted my teeth, and tried grasping the sword with the power I now held in my hands.
Become real. Become real. Become real. Become real. Become real. Become real. Become real.
I prayed inside my head, devoting all my thoughts toward that one single wish. What I'm holding is a real D-sword. It's not fake. It's real. I infused the strength of my entire being into the blade. Come.
Reveal yourself to me. Grant me salvation. Protect me.
I slowly opened my eyes. The sword I was holding hadn't changed whatsoever. It was still the same cheap-ass toy.
そりゃそうだよな。
There's no such thing as
It's an evil eye-esque psychic power that turned delusions into reality. It was way too puny. What was I, 5? I felt ashamed to have ever thought that I held such power. Heaving a long sigh, I lowered the sword. Right as I did, I sensed a gaze behind me. I could feel chills on the back of my neck. Goosebumps rose across the entirety of my body. The gaze again? That was a clear sign. A sign that, right at that moment, someone was watching me. Don't look at me. I wasn't gonna turn around like I'd ever turn around. Not only had I sensed a presence, I'd heard a voice as well. Though to be precise, it hadn't exactly been a voice. It had been closer to a sigh. Don't tell me. I might have made a terrible mistake. I slowly, ever so slowly, turned around.
Remy jump scare.
And there was Remy, staring right at me. So that was it. No wonder the sense of presence had been more intense than usual. Granted, that only made sense, considering I wasn't just feeling like I was being watched. I was being watched. This was definitely going to get confusing. Oh god, had Remy seen me go full Chunibyo? Brandishing a sword and all that? It was start to finish?
Why are we playing this suspenseful music?
I was gonna die from embarrassment. Except, something was off about her. Mimi's brow furrowed. She stared at me without blinking even once. However, it wasn't me she was looking at, but the object I held, the toy D-sword. Why did she look so serious? I felt like she was an entirely different person from the one that had been getting all confused about patents earlier. An unpleasant memory flashed through my mind. Remy was on my side. She was supposed to be. However, I still hadn't solved the mystery surrounding her.
Did Remy know something about these swords?
たくその剣だけど捨てた方が
どうして？
だってもう高校生だし。 そりゃ男の子ってさすがにそんなそれが許されるの。でも私にだけ
Blade tripped. I forgot how this goes. I think negative this time. Okay, no, that is the exact same.
I was at a loss about what to do, so I opted to subtly examine Rimi's expression.
And then you're gonna stare at her panties, right? Yeah.
どうかした？ねえ、タク。私、喉何か飲み物ある？ないなら買ってこようかな。コンビニ行ってちょっと行ってくる。
え、
露出狂？
あ、え、
びっくりした。急に大声出さないでよ。さっきから変だよ。一人でブツブツ言い出したかと思ったら急に大声上げるし。どうかしたの？ねえ、タク。 私喉乾いてきちゃった。何か飲み物ある？ないなら買ってこようかな。コンビちょっと行ってくる。
My vision suddenly went pitch black. I felt something push against my eyes. But what the hell?
誰だ？
In no fucking way. Could this be the legendary Who Is It game? The legend stated only exists within the world. I ever thought I experienced it in my lifetime. It was not, basically won the game with light. No, hang on, calm down. There's no way I'd ever... Okay, right. I was kind of stuck in a whatever mode for a moment there. Okay. I remember how this went before, so... This is probably just a positive attitude rather than just more fan service or whatever. I don't care. I just want to get to the plot already. Right, what was I thinking? I was in a delusion. I had to be. I mean, it was an urban legend, aka something that nobody could confirm the existence of. Phew, almost had me there. I'd managed to regain my composure. If this was a delusion, I wanted to get back to reality ASAP. That way I could just get it over with. Kind of like jumping into a lake or something. That way it'd hurt less. On the other hand, why don't I just indulge myself in this blissful fantasy for a little while? I'm sure Rimi won't mind.
ヒントはね、名前に「り」がつく。
Yeah, it was pretty obvious even without the hint. I could tell the moment she'd opened her mouth. After all, I was trained in the art of working out. In another universe. That said, I wasn't a VA otaku or anything like that. This was just a natural stage of progression for anyone who watched anime.
あれ？わからない？第二ヒント。名前に「み」がつく。
You just gave away the answer. What a complete dunce. Not again. Oh, Rimi. You're so cute, Rimi.
Her name's Rikumi.
There was a simple reason as to why I couldn't answer. While I obviously knew the answer, saying the name out loud was pretty damn embarrassing. Since it was a delusion, I should just play along.
み。
ピンポーン。
Her hands released my face. I opened my eyes. I turned around, and to no surprise, found Rimi standing there.
待たしちゃってごめんね。
Wait, what? I wasn't waking up from the delusion. Usually it would just end here, and I'd suddenly return to my senses. I tried pinching my cheek. No, wait, that's how you tell if you're in a dream, but dreams and delusions aren't all that different, so it's not really wrong to use that method to ouch my cheek, or what the fuck. Wait, was this actually real? Upon realizing this, I instantly became embarrassed. My face shot straight to the ground.
どうしたの？顔赤いよ。
In spite of her words, Rimi's cheeks were dyed a light scarlet. Maybe that was just because the sunset was shining down on her. Maybe.
さあ、帰ろう。
Let me think. Negative.
I could feel Senna's breath on my cheeks. She was so close, she could rip out my throat with her teeth just like that. Why was this girl so violent and terrifying?
なぜこの
I flailed my arms around as hard as I could, and I inadvertently ended up smacking Senna on the cheek. The impact sent her backwards, and she fell to the ground, hard.
I guess some people are just into CGs of an anime girl who's been slapped and is now laying on the floor.
She pressed her hand against her head and looked up at me. Long gone was the endless confidence from a few moments ago. All there was now was fear. Her eyes were moist. The sight of this never-before-seen vulnerability lit a sadistic fire in me like no other. All the frustration that had been building up inside in me had at last found a way to escape, and now it could flow out all at once.
僕をなめるな
My words were undeniably aggressive. They were words that I would normally never use, but I had said them to her. It felt good, refreshing even.
悪かった。でも叩くなんてひどいだろ。
Senna looked like she was about to cry, something